Hello everybody and welcome to City Stadium for the Richmond Kickers versus Toronto FC 2 in the USL Eastern Conference. My name is Darryl Grove. Sitting next to me in the commentary booth is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. We are here to see Richmond Kickers, bottom of the Eastern Conference, play TFC 2 just above them, 1 point above them. So it's an opportunity today for the Kickers to sort of turn some not great form around and maybe leapfrog TFC 2, go one place up the table.
I'm sure that will be their goal. I'm sure, Toronto will not be wanting that to not be the case. Starting 4 teenagers are Toronto, so it's a different clash of styles. You've got a much younger Toronto team versus a more veteran Richmond Kickers team.
And that's been a thing that they've talked about all season, the Richmond Kickers, that this is a young team, so now they're playing an even younger team. Toronto FC's most experienced player, Toronto FC 2's most experienced player, number 22, Jordan Hamilton. He's a Canadian international with 2 caps. He's a regular part of Toronto FC's MLS team, so he's really going to be the striker to watch today.
He's in the USL Team of the Week. We expect him to start kind of as a right forward, but maybe drift inside and stay central.
I think he'll start central. We'll see who's right when the game starts. For the Richmond Kickers, the man that we're spotlighting is Travis Wara, on loan from DC United. He's been here before on loan. We welcome him back to City Stadium.
We do indeed. He saved a penalty at the beginning of the season
yes.
to get us going, to get this season off on the right foot.
See some of that Wara magic.
Bit of a slide, so hopefully he gets them back on track this evening.
Maybe some of that Wara magic gets them going again. 2017. So the starting lineup for the away team, Toronto, it's going to be Cavalluzzo in goal. I think it's going to be a back 3 of Onconi, Tainter and Aubrey. That's your back 3. Then left to right in Toronto's midfield, Telfer on the left, Serbal and James in the middle, Alseth on the right. Then we think a front 3 of Hundal on the left, Johnson on the right, Jordan Hamilton is your centre forward.
Here we are for the Richmond Kickers. It's going to be, as we mentioned, Travis Wara in goal. Braden Troyer and Alex Lee will be your fullbacks with Evan Lee and William Yambi in between. It'll be Oscar Umar and Uday Mura in the middle of the field with Matt Bolduc, Sonny Jane, and Fred Owusu-Sekire as your 3 more attacking midfielders. And Luis Fernando, we think, might be up top. Could be Sonny Jane, but we think it will be Luis Fernando starting as the more central forward for the Kickers.
And we also believe it's going to be number 8, Evan Lee, will be at centre-back with Ian Yambi because Malin Roberts is out injured.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see what the Kickers do with Luis Fernando if he is up top, if he does have Sonny Jane in behind. They struggled last week. They tried to play like basically break that offside line and use the pace of Luis Fernando. It did not work very well. Kept getting caught offside. We'll see if they adjust that approach this evening.
Okay, Taylor, we're going to throw to our CBS colleagues, Candace Burns and Zach Daniel.
We are at the City Stadium for the Richmond Kickers versus the Toronto game. And Zach, what a beautiful day it is out here.
Yeah, weather-wise, it's good. It's been hot today, but it has not been as humid in the last couple of days. So really couldn't ask for better here on middle of August type of weather here. It's going to be nice once the sun gets a little lower on the horizon, and perfect Saturday night out here.
Man, it's so cool to have a meteorologist out here to give us the forecast. You also played soccer, so you can tell us how this weather might affect the players on the field.
Oh, I think they're going to be fine. They've played through a lot worse than this summertime. Sure. Maybe the Canadians, since it's Toronto, maybe a little bit hot for them, but I mean, they're athletes, so they're ready for it.
All right, speaking of soccer and the athletes, you're an athlete. CBS 6 has a partnership with the Kickers, and we've been out at the games all year long. You were at the season opener, and you did something spectacular that a lot of people have been talking about. Please share. The people want to know.
All right, so it's one of 2 big events tonight. You're going to tell us about the other one, but yeah, I have the crossbar challenge at halftime where I have 3 shots to hit the crossbar, and if I do, everybody here at City Stadium takes home a bagel from Einstein Bagels. Last time I hit it on my first try. A little bit of luck there. I hadn't played soccer in over a decade.
That's skill.
But
we're expecting you to do it again.
I'm expecting myself to do it. We'll see what happens. And you got something else going on that people are being excited about.
A lot of people have been signing up to get 2 free used cars we're giving away at halftime. We're not giving them away. Tappahannock Chevrolet is giving them away. So that's caused a lot of excitement. 2 people are guaranteed to leave this game with a car. That's so cool. You wish you could do that because you have 3 kids, right?
Yeah, I drove up here with 14 kids. Everybody in the neighborhood came in my car, so I could use an extra ride on the way home. So yeah, between 7,000 and 9,000 out here at City Stadium. Not too late to come on down. If not, enjoy it from home. We're glad we're partners here this year and for the remainder of the season. Have a great night. Enjoy the game.
Thank you to Candice and Zach. We are ready for first half kickoff. If you're watching at home, Richmond Kickers are in red, right to left. Toronto FC 2 in left, going left to right. And we are underway at City Stadium with Oscar Umar laying it out left to Braden Troyer. He goes long down the left, looking for Fred Owusu-Sikiri. It is intercepted by Tainter. Brian James in midfield now. Puts it out right to Alseth. Alseth tackled by Troyer. All the way back to the captain, Mitchell Tainter. Tainter again, looks like he's going to be the right centre-back in that TFC2 back three. Into the feet of James in midfield. Out to Alseth, the Norwegian, tackled by Braden Troyer. Troyer having the best of this battle on the left side, Taylor.
Indeed, it does look like it's going to be Jordan Hamilton and Sean Hundal as your kind of like front two with Malik Johnson far.
Here is Hundal chasing through, collected by Travis Wara. Eventually, he let it run out of bounds. That was some risky play from Travis Wara.
I think it would have been had it not have been offside. I think the AR had the flag in the air. Maybe the center official just let it play a couple seconds longer.
Oh, it's the old rule or the new rule where you have to wait for the forward to touch it.
Absolutely.
Causing all kinds of confusion once again, at least in this commentary booth. Travis Wara to kick. It's a little low. It's intercepted by Alseth, who turns away from Owusu-Sikiri. Gets the ball back from Hundal. Alseth tackled. Now here's Fred Owusu-Sikiri. Turns back. Gives it to Oscar Umar. Into Evan Lee. Evan Lee had that small mistake last week that cost the Kickers a goal. To William Yumby.
A little bit sure of foot this evening so far, at least.
Yeah. Yumby to Evan Lee. He was actually really good apart from that one moment, but that's all it takes, right, for a centre-back. His ball into Boulder, doesn't get there. Next with Strubble in midfield. He is sort of tackled by Brian James. Gives it to Jordan Hamilton. Hamilton looks strong, held it up. It's outright with Alseth, who's seen a lot of the ball so far, but hasn't produced anything for TFC2, although it is early. Hamilton lays it back to Brian James. Onkoni goes down the line, looking for Malik Johnson. Uday Moore has knocked it out. It's going to be a throw. It's Ryan Telfer to throw for TFC2. Telfer into Hamilton. Holds it up, dribbles it back. I've seen a lot of safe play from Hamilton so far. Nothing too risky, but making sure that his team keep possession.
I think given the loss to Bethlehem last week for Toronto, I think they're probably trying to make sure they get off on the right foot, make sure they stay settled, and get some good attacking options slowly.
Here's Alseth. Alseth, speaking of right feet. His cross intercepted by Troyer, but bounces back to him. Alseth and Troyer battling in the corner. Alseth goes down. It's going to be a free kick to TFC2. This is where we learn who TFC2's set-piece taker is. I think I see Brian James walking over.
Yeah, it looks like it will be Brian James taking his time to come across. Yeah, it really does look like Toronto may be trying to take their time here. Maybe that has something to do with the heat. It was about 90 degrees at kickoff here at City Stadium. Obviously, a lot of humidity in the air as well. So maybe they're just trying to kind of get to the point where the sun goes down. It's a little bit cooler. Then they can go at the kickers with a little bit more aggression. I
see Telfer and James, old right foot, left foot combination. So kickers won't know if the swing's in or out until they see who takes it. It's Telfer, so it's going to swing in and low. Scramble in the box, and it's in the back of the net. I think it's Jordan Hamilton has scored. He was the sharpest in the 6-yard box. That's why he's a Canadian international.
Once again, problems for the Richmond Kickers, dealing with that low ball in, unable to clear. Instead, in the chaos, it falls to Jordan Hamilton, who takes the opportunistic shot, puts it in the back of the net, and it's 1-0 to Toronto inside the first 4 minutes here at City Stadium.
So let's take a second look at this. Were the kickers confused by the left or right-footed ball? I think maybe more so by the low ball.
Looks like it was also just a nice flick there from Sean Hundal. Got a nice little in-step reverse flick to it. Put the kickers off, weren't sure who to step to. And in that process, you have Jordan Hamilton open, able to take that shot and get that goal.
Well, we certainly picked the right player to spotlight before kickoff. Kickers trying to come back here. Owusu-Sikiri, crossfield ball is intercepted. Here come TFC2 again. Here's Jordan Hamilton with the ball. He puts it into the path of Johnson. Yumby with a big slide tackle to intercept.
And I think we're seeing some very worrying signs here if you are a Richmond Kickers fan. Before this game started, we saw a lot of kind of like drills being run to try to work through Uday Omura and Oscar Umar as the Kickers' two holding midfielders. They continuously are finding themselves drifting a bit too far wide. Big gaps in the middle. That's why you saw that giveaway from Owusu-Sikiri, and that's why you have that counterattack from TFC.
They do have the ball right now, though. You've just seen Owusu-Sikiri to Umura, to Baldock, out wide. Maybe the Kickers can hear you. Alex Lee crosses it in. Head of Sonny Jane. Jane tipped onto the bar and into the back of the net. The Kickers have an equaliser just a minute after going down.
You saw Sonny Jane look behind him just to make sure that that ball ended up in the back of the net, that he gets the goal, and he does, courtesy of Draper Aiden Athletics, engineering the experience.
I hope Candice Burns and Zach Daniel are enjoying the game so far.
A good start from the Richmond Kickers there after going behind to fight back to get that goal. Good interplay, 2 players wide open in the box. Some, I'd say, calamitous defending there from TFC2. Sodijane able to take the opportunity, and Yudai Omura able to follow through just in case that ball didn't cross the line the first time. But as you can see there, it's clearly in, padded out by Cavaluzzo, but in the end, it's going to be a goal to Sodijane, 1-1.
And you were saying that they were working on that sort of Imura, Oscar Umar passing through the midfield. It hadn't happened so far. The first time it happens, Kickers end up on the score sheet after that ball gets worked wide. 1-1 at City Stadium.
I'm going to assume that's what Richmond Kickers head coach Lee Calishaw had in mind, probably not going down 1-0 inside the first 4 minutes.
It's a good motivator. Ball is now out left. It's Telfer. Crosses low. Flashes across the front of the 6-yard box. It looks like maybe a Richmond Kickers player got a touch because we have a corner kick. Fans certainly getting their money's worth so far at City Stadium.
If that touch hadn't happened, you have to wonder if it would be 2-1 right back up for a TFC2. Looked like Sean Hundahl and Jordan Hamilton lurking there. Not sure who gets the touch. Good driven ball in.
Possibly Travis Wara?
I think it was Travis Wara. Got just a quick little hand to it. Able to deflect it, maybe just able to off-put those TFC2 attackers.
It's going to be Telfer to take, I think. It's going to be left-footed, in-swinging and low again. Headed out. Fighting at the top of the box. Baldock comes away with it, puts it down the line. For Sodijane, he's overhit it. He's dispossessed by Alseth. Alseth bringing it back at the Kickers. Tries to get it down the line. Wusisakiri gets a touch. Now Alseth gets it back again. Alseth's ball is cut out. Oscar Umar has it. He's under pressure. He goes all the way back to Travis Wara. Whew.
Exactly. You can see the intensity here. Both teams really trying to go at each other, trying to make something happen, trying to get that go-ahead goal. So you're seeing a lot of scrappy play and a lot of, honestly, sloppy passing here that both teams, I'm sure, will want to settle down, make sure they keep a little bit more of the ball.
Kickers got away with that one. Umar into Jane. His loose pass is collected by Wusisakiri. His pass is intercepted. And here come TFC2 once again. Malik Johnson takes his time, gets it out left. It's Ryan Telfer. Puts it into the path of Hamilton. Yombi steps across and clears it into the stands of City Stadium. You notice the low set piece again, Taylor, twice in a row for TFC2.
Seems like maybe TFC2 watched some footage of last week, thought maybe we can exploit this, and they're definitely going to keep going with that. Also interesting to note, it seems like maybe the Richmond Kickers watched some film of their own. We're seeing Fred Wusisakiri, who's theoretically outside left, tucking in very central very often.
Here goes Sodijane, dribbling a long way down the field and shoots from distance, left-footed, hits the Chicken Fiesta sign. That's how we know it's gone wide to the right.
Makes me wonder if maybe the Richmond Kickers thought they might be going up against Jordan McCrary on that right-hand side. He was very attacking last week, drew the penalty that led to the goal for TFC2. Instead, it's Oyvind Alseth, who maybe is staying back just a little bit more. It's allowing Wusisakiri to drop inside.
So I can't say I'm super familiar with him, but what I've seen of him in this first, 6 minutes, is that he's sort of really good defensively, but every time he's got the ball, he hasn't looked too confident going forward. He's been tackled by Braden Troyer a couple of times already. Yombi out left to Braden Troyer, under pressure from Alseth. Troyer was in a tight spot, managed to get it back all the way to Travis Wara. Wara goes to the right. Yudai Omura, who's been making some substitute appearances. Good to see Omura back in the starting 11. I know he's a fan favourite here at City Stadium. Not just because he dances with the Japanese flag at the end of games, also because he scores and makes a lot of goals. Baldock gives it to Yudai Omura. Turn and sprays it out left. It's maybe a little long for Troyer, but he gets there. Braden Troyer, the left back, with the ball. Down the line, looking for Luis Fernando. Tainted was big, got ahead to it.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
Yudai Omura's long diagonal ball has gone out wide with Baldock. Baldock, tried to lay it into the path of Sodijane. Didn't quite make it. Now Brian James tries to reach Jordan Hamilton. Evan Lee steps. Gives it to Baldock. into Frederick Sakiri, a back heel, back into the path of Bolduc. Heavy touch, it was intercepted by Onkoni.
Makes me wonder if maybe Bolduc didn't anticipate that nice little flick from Owusu Sekire, so then had to get to it as quickly as he could, but that led to a sloppy touch and a slight giveaway. Richmond Kickers now back in possession.
Here's Alex Lee. Alex Lee, it's cleared. It's collected by Oscar Umar to restart the play. To Owusu Sekire, he gets it back. Now it's with William Yumby, looking for options, under pressure. Goes back to Travis Warrer. No blame on Travis Warrer on the goal, at least from my perspective.
I don't think so. I think anytime a player is able to kind of turn and get that shot off with not much pressure on him, it's always going to be difficult for the goalkeeper, especially from that, like, basically not necessarily tight angle, but you can't really see where it's coming from when it's that turn and that shot.
And I'd say no blame on Cavalluzzo on Sonny Jane's goal. I mean, he got a hand to it, got it. I mean, he didn't quite save it, but he got it onto the bar and then over the line.
No, I mean, I think definitely blame goes to the defenders. When you let Sonny Jane win a header uncontested in the box,
he's not a big guy, right?
It's never a good sign. Unless, of course, you're a Richmond Kickers fan.
Brian James with a clever turn and puts it out right to his captain, Mitchell Tainter. Troyer intercepts. Here's Oscar Umar to Evan Lee. I hope I'm not jinxing it when I say Kicker's passing looks like it's calmed down a little bit. William Yumby had to toe poke it to Braden Troyer, but it worked. Troyer into Owusu Sekiri, nice turn. And he got away from Serbal. Here's Fred Owusu Sekiri still. He's got runners ahead of him. He slides it through for Sonny Jane. Tainter gets there and turns very calmly.
Yeah, very nice play there from Tainter to track Sonny Jane, hold the line, but then make sure he intercepts, handle it cleanly, and keep possession instead of booting it out for a corner.
There's a lot of centre-backs would have just put that out for a throw-in.
You're a centre-back. Would you be one of those centre-backs?
I like to think that I'd do what Tainter just did, but we both know what would have really happened.
Corner kick at best, own goal at worst.
Here is Tainter again. He said move in swiftly. No Serbal. Try to find Hamilton. Oscar Umar has it, drags it away from Jordan Hamilton. Jordan Hamilton gave the thumbs up. You know, we love players who give thumbs up to teammates.
We do. Always a nice reassuring gesture.
Evan Lee down the line, looking for Luis Fernando. Fernando's got that pace, but he's not going to win balls in the air. Evan Lee with a good win and comes out with it. Gives it to Bolduc. Bolduc turns. Bolduc goes down the line. Luis Fernando collects. Up against Aubrey. Luis Fernando brings it back to safety. Alex Lee, who has the assist. Oscar Umar looks up. Chooses the safe ball back to William Yumby. Owusu Sekiri with a little push in the back as he played that, but he got it away.
Kicker slow to build there, did have the counter-attacking opportunity, but basically kept 6 players back. I wonder if that was Evan Lee, maybe because he stepped forward, nobody wanted to overcommit and leave the center backs basically exposed, or maybe that is a sign of what the Kickers are going to try to do, build slowly, go through the middle, and find their opportunities when they can.
Here's Yuda Imura. Gives it to Braden Troyer. Troyer out left. Jane flicks it into the air. Imura couldn't get there. Now TFC2 can come away with it. Here's Jordan Hamilton. Jordan Hamilton to Telfer. He lets it run right to the line. Up against Alex Lee. Goes back to Onkoni. And Brian James. I mentioned this briefly before kickoff, but just the idea that William Yumby had talked about that the Kickers are a pretty young team. You know, guys like Luis Fernando are young, inexperienced players trying to make their way in the world. But it's an opportunity for some pros. They have a lot of pros on the Kickers team to play against these kids on the Toronto FC2 team. They're 18, 19, early 20s. I think the oldest outfield player is 24.
Yeah, you can see that there. A relatively easy giveaway there under not much pressure for TFC2. Maybe a sign of inexperience, a sign of youth.
And here's Bolduc for the Kickers. Shoots, top of the box, it's blocked. Sekiri's going to collect it. He is not. Alseth steps with it. Now Alseth comes away with it. Into Hamilton. Hamilton gives it him back. Really good first-time pass.
And Darryl, we thought Sonny Jane would maybe be operating as the number 10. It does look like he is the number 9 for the Richmond Kickers this evening, and is Luis Fernando kind of operating central as that number 10. So it's the third position for Luis Fernando in as many weeks.
We should not have argued with the on-screen graphic. Here's Tainter. Serbal. Kickers not bringing any pressure. Seem content to let TFC2 pass it around. Rather too much space for Brian James there.
A little bit. Seems like they're very concerned about the counterattack through the middle.
Yeah.
Intent to have TFC to move the ball around the back, right around midfield, and maybe have it out wide, but not through the middle.
Tainter's ball right into the corner for Telfer. It's a really impressive pass from a centre-back. Telfer goes back to Johnson.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com.
Now Tainter brings it forward. Squares it to Johnson from the top of the box. Shoots low. It's held by Travis Warrer.
You can see there just a little bit of sunlight. Travis Warrer does well not to lose the ball, but to get down low and hold. No spilling, no parrying out. Good work there from the Richmond kicker stopper.
Also proof that Travis Warrer is not a vampire, is not scared of sunlight.
I know we were all very worried.
Well held, Travis Warrer. Udai Mora playing the ball out of the back. Sakiri one-times it to Oscar Umar. Back to Evan Lee. Looks like Udai Mora is going to be the guy to collect the ball off the centre-backs. Evan Lee to Sonny Jane. And back to Travis Warrer again. Are the kickers being patient, or are the kickers out of ideas?
It's difficult to tell. I can't tell if they're basically sitting back and waiting for TFC2 to just come forward a little bit, or if they just maybe don't have the options that they'd like. Because
Alex Lee couldn't accelerate down the right there. It's gone out for a throw.
We're seeing a lot of, just off your screen there, you can see Lee Calishon now on your screen, doing a lot of gesturing, trying to pull some players wide. I think they want to create more mismatches.
Baldock at the top of the box, tried to find Troyer out left, but it was blocked by TFC2. Now Troyer has it. First time cross from Troyer with his right foot. Headed out by Serbal. Collected by Freddie Sakiri. Chips. He finds Luis Fernando, who's onside. The flag is not up. Fernando lays it out to Troyer. Troyer takes a touch. Goes back. Udai Amora. Lots of Richmond Kickers players in the box if he can find them. Oscar Umar, kickers being worked backwards a bit.
Kickers may have numbers in the box, but they certainly don't have height in the box.
That's true.
Which I think explains their hesitation to whip that ball in.
All the height is on the bench with Frank Tayu. He's not sharing it. Jordan Hamilton lays it off once again. Hundal lays it out to Alseth with a bit of space to bring it forward. Gives it to Serbal. Another good first-time pass from Jordan Hamilton. I'm going to have to stop saying it because he keeps doing it. Tainter to Onconi. Out left. It's going to be Telfer to chase. He gets there. Sorry, it is Telfer.
I'm pretty
Ball
surprised.
is laid back.
I'm really surprised by what the kickers are doing here. Alseth is completely wide open on this far right side. I'm not sure any kickers players know that he's there. With Sakiri almost operating as a third central midfielder as opposed to an outside left midfielder.
It looks a little like they're very concerned about Jordan Hamilton, so Braden Troyer is tucking in next to William Yombi to not leave him one-on-one.
But we'll see if TFC2 spot that and recognize that they've got opportunities out wide pretty much all day.
Here's Jordan Hamilton from distance, shoots over.
I think you're absolutely right, though, Darryl. You can see Travis Warrer off his line, having some words, trying to G up the team a little bit, but I think also reminding them that they do not want Jordan Hamilton shooting, even from distance.
We're back in play. Udai Mura has it. Evan Lee, he got caught under his feet. But he's found Owusu Sakiri, who's played it long for Sonny Jane to chase. He's up against Onconi in the corner. Jane keeps moving. Little swivel. Umar lays it off. Malik Johnson intercepted before Freddie Owusu Sakiri could take it. Long ball. Evan Lee gets ahead to it, but Jordan Hamilton has it. Hamilton to James. James turns away from Luis Fernando, comes back, gives it to Tainter. I've been very impressed with the quality of Tainter's play so far with the ball at his feet. Alseth into the path of Serbal. Big tackle from Oscar Umar and the poke on the floor. Troyer comes out with it. Troyer slide tackles, gets it to Baldock. Now Luis Fernando steps and rolls and gives it back to Troyer. Yombi to Evan Lee. Yombi stops to tie his shoelace. Good timing. It's tied, and he's got the ball.
I've been surprised with the positioning of Mitchell Tainter. I figured he would be the most central of the three center backs. It seems like he's come out wide on the right.
Baldock with some space here. Baldock shoots from distance. It's over.
And just with the positioning he's taken, with the runs he's made, it makes me wonder if his job is specifically to track Luis Fernando, because he's stuck with him pretty tight there as soon as the Richmond kickers are in any sort of attacking position.
Yeah, it is surprising because he's the captain. The games we've seen from the previous weeks, he's been the central centre-back of the back three.
And yet here we are. It looks like it's more so Brandon Aubrey who shifted into the central defensive role.
It's working so far for TFC2. 1-1 at City Stadium. 20 minutes and 30 seconds on the top. They're away from home. They're near the bottom of the table. If they tie this game, they get out of here without the kickers overtaking them.
I'm just saying, when both teams concede inside the first 8 minutes, I don't think either one can say, yeah, we locked down the defense early.
Hamilton's layoff is collected by Yudo Imura, but it looks like TFC2 have won a free kick.
Folks, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Let's take one more look at this foul.
Looked to be just a little bit of a clip as the ball was being played. I think that's a good call by the center official.
TFC have men lined up at the top of the box. Referee is asking Luis Fernando and Freddie Wusikiri to take about 4 yards worth of steps backwards. Nice try though, guys.
I mean, you got to try.
Chipped into the back post. Tainter gets ahead to it, but heads it right into the waiting arms of Travis Wara.
I think they were aiming for Jordan Hamilton there. I'm not sure Hamilton knew that Tainter was in behind.
But Tainter is not back yet, so it's worth trying to exploit that space. I think that's what Oscar Umar was trying to do, but his ball was not of sufficient quality. I think that was meant to bend back in the other way, wasn't it?
I'm guessing that's what he would argue.
Serbal exchanges passes with Alseth. Back to Tainter now. He's back in position.
I had that once where I played a ball so bad that my coach didn't realize what I was trying to do, and basically it was that, and he told me, no, you got to play that inside. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, at least we could recognize what Oscar Umar was trying to do.
Yeah, it was the right idea when Tainter's out of position. Heavy pass. Tainter puts his hands to his face. He knows that that's not good enough. And uncharacteristic from what we've seen so far. Now Braden Troyer passes into the feet of Jane. Gives it him back. Troyer tried to split Alseth and Tainter. Couldn't quite make it. Onconi goes back to Cavalluzzo.
Could also be that both teams just really enjoy parity. One team scores, the other team scores. One team plays a bad pass, the other team plays a bad pass.
Troyer, big tackle, but Alseth comes away with the ball. Tainter chips long for Hundal to chase. Yombi, I think, gave him a little push, but came out with the ball and calmly gives it to Braden Troyer.
Yeah, Yombi there matched Hundal's pace and then maybe let him know that he's slightly stronger as well.
Alex Lee gives it back to Oscar Umar. Tackled in midfield by Hamilton. Scramble for the ball. James comes away with it. Gives it to Serbal, to Hamilton. It's good quick play from TFC2 here. Hamilton's holding it up. Puts it out left for Telfer. Telfer, left-footed, looking to put that cross in. Instead, squares it back to Serbal. Serbal to Johnson. Malik Johnson now. Back to Onconi. I'm going to say TFC2, for how many teenagers on the team, they've been very patient and sensible. He says as Tainter shoots from the top of the box.
You can see TFC2 just pushing numbers forward a little bit more with a little bit more regularity. Tainter, again, you can see what he's going for.
Yeah, the space was there. The space was there to step into it.
Probably wouldn't mind having that one again. So we did have Bolduc and Fred Owusu-Sekire switch sides. Owusu-Sekire now on the right, Bolduc on the left, but it looks like Owusu-Sekire now coming back across. Got a little bit of a gesture from Bolduc. Not sure if that was planned or unplanned. Either way, I'm guessing we're going to see another switch here in the next couple minutes.
Keep an eye on that for us, Tyler. Troyer exchanges passes with Bolduc on the left side. Tainter cuts that out, puts it reasonably close to us here in the commentary box. I couldn't quite get a foot to it. Troyer throws into midfield for Oscar Umar. Umar plays it a little too wide for Lee, but Lee gets there. Owusu Sakiri looking for Luis Fernando. Aubrey was there. Lee throws to Lee. Everyone Lee to William Yumby. Uday Moore looking for options, finds Braden Troyer. Immediately under pressure from Jordan Hamilton. Troyer's got away from him, keeps coming forward, gives it to Baldock. I think he put Baldock in a bit of trouble there, but he's got it back. And Troyer, it's kept in by Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando, nutmeg. Umar. Kickers still have it. Owusu to Jane. Sonny Jane in a bit of space. Turns on Coney, 360. Owusu lays it off at Baldock. It's cut out in the end by Alseth. Some good soccer from the kickers, but some good defending by Alseth in the end.
And a foul there from Uday Umar. I think we're going to see the first booking of the evening. Hamilton had him turned, I think had that counter-attack on, so we will see the first booking for Uday Umar and the Richmond Kickers. Fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
You've just seen the replay of that move that ended with Alseth just getting the outside of his foot to it. We're back in play with Serbal for TFC2. Still Serbal. Playing back and forth with Tainter. He goes to Aubrey. Again, kickers not pressuring.
No, really sitting back in a 4-5-1, much more so than we've seen like most of the time this season. Luis Fernando, the number 10, dropping very deep to Mark Hamilton.
James with lots of time and the space to find Johnson. Flick from Hundal, Lee gets to it. Alseth up against Troyer. Layoff from Hamilton. Back to Tainter. I'm a little concerned by how deep and compact the kickers are, and yet it was so easy to find Malik Johnson in space there.
I think you're probably not the only one who's concerned. I'm guessing the kickers bench probably making some notes about what needs to be done. As we said, this does seem to be kind of a new system for the kickers, and I think they're having some difficulty knowing who needs to be where and exactly when.
It worked that time, though, as that deflection goes all the way back through to Travis Warrer. I think that's what's supposed to happen.
I would guess so. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before with other teams and other games, that sometimes when you put all those numbers behind the ball, you think you're doing a good job because now you've got everybody in kind of a defensive shell. But what can happen then is no one is entirely certain whose job it is to step and mark certain players and put people under pressure, and that allows the opposition time to kind of pick out their passes, find the open man whenever they can.
And I think it's especially dangerous. I know I've mentioned it maybe one too many times already, but Jordan Hamilton seems very, very good at just a quick one-time pass when he shows for the ball. He can make a move happen out of nothing by the look of it.
Absolutely. Looks to be, you can't see it, it's off screen, but it looks like maybe Jordan Hamilton also wants his teammates to play the ball a little bit quicker, find a little bit better passes, doing some gesturing, doing some coaching there at midfield. To be fair, he is like the relatively old head on this team at the grand old age of 21.
Yeah, he is only 21, but lots of sort of MLS experience. And his goal will be to just impress for TFC2, work his way back into that Toronto FC team. He's only up against Josie Altidore and Sebastian Giovinco.
I think I've heard of them.
Telfer got his head to that, but he's headed it out for a kicker's throw that Alex Lee is going to take. Alex Lee throws. It's flicked on.
Looks like a little bit of a shove in the back there on that flick, so it'll be a free kick for the Richmond Kickers to be taken by Alex Lee. Tried to take it quickly. Pass wasn't on. Drops back to Evan Lee.
Did you see the confused look on my face? I was wondering why there was a kicker's free kick.
I did, only because for a second I thought foul throw.
Good work from Brian James to come away with the ball there. The overlapping Telfer once again. He's seen a lot of the ball on the left. Telfer up against Lee, crosses low, Hamilton gets his head to it, it bounces off of Hundal. It's come out to Baldock. Baldock looks a little unsure, but finds Troyer. Braden Troyer, left-footed down the line. That ball has bounced, but it's still in bounds. Luis Fernando gives chase. Up against Tainter. It looks like Tainter touched it. It's going to be a Richmond kicker's throw-in.
That was some.
It should be. Yes, it is.
That was some crafty play there from Tainter. I think he knew he put it out of bounds, knew the counterattack was on, so picked it up, took the throw-in, and then pretended like he didn't know what was happening just to buy himself some time. While the kickers get set to take this throw-in, we'll say soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
See this one more time. I think you're exactly right, yeah. Tainter just made sure that the kickers couldn't take the throw quickly.
He had Sinijane running through, I think was worried about that kind of 2v1 counterattack, so maybe just took his time with the ball.
And there's no polygraph to prove that he didn't know. Here's Fred Owusu-Sakiri, lays it out wide to Luis Fernando. From the top of the box, Luis Fernando hits Aubrey, I think, in the face. The ball is still bouncing loose. Top of the box, Jane looking to make a little space. Good poke tackle from Brian James in the end. Braden Troyer squares it to Yudai Mora. He thought about the cross. Instead, he squares it to Oscar Umar. Umar to Alex Lee. Lee in short to Luis Fernando. Now Fernando can run at this TFC2 defence. He lifts it a little bit down the line. Yudai Mora puts it in low. The ball has trickled through and gone behind for a corner kick.
I think Brandon Aubrey stepped across, got a foot to it. Looked like maybe that was going to be turned into the goal. Instead, Aubrey does really well to get himself between the player and the ball and put it out for a corner.
Yeah, you heard that small cheer in City Stadium when the net rippled. I think people thought maybe the ball was in the back of the net. Yeah, in the end, Aubrey, it seems, did really, really well to cut out trouble.
I think he did well with the last-ditch defending, but I'm not certain he knew that Sinijane was right behind him. I think he lost his man and then had to make the desperation tackle. So he does well to put it out of bounds and not let the goal happen, but probably should have done a little bit better at tracking the man.
Sinijane to take the corner kick. It's high and into the box. Yumbi was up. It looks like maybe Yumbi fouled Cavalluzzo, though. Credit to Cavalluzzo for still managing to get a hand to it.
Yeah, Yumbi's not small, but he is down.
He is down, yeah.
He took a knock there. Holding his head is William Yumbi.
Let's take a look. I'm thinking maybe there's a collision in the air.
Yeah, I think he may have just run into Cavalluzzo there. A little bit of contact. I'd say it's incidental.
Head-to-head?
I don't think so, just because Yumbi won't require treatment. I think if it was head-to-head, the official would have had to call in the training staff just to do the concussion protocol. So maybe an awkward hit to the face, maybe just a little bit of a stinger.
You saw in the close-up, Yumbi shake it off.
I'm guessing he's had worse, especially given that he missed part of the season with a knee injury.
Yeah. Cavalluzzo wants to take this short. He's beckoning people short. He's given up on it. It's going to go long. Big kick from Cavalluzzo. Yumbi misses the header, but it bounces through to Braden Troyer. Troyer square to Evan Lee. Lee taking his time. Nearly found Sinijane with that long, low pass. I'm going to give him partial credit for that.
I'm sure he'll take it.
Here's Brian James. Brian James has been quietly impressive, I think.
I think both James and Serbal have done a really good job when they've needed to in that aggressive step to put Oscar Umar and Yudai Umura under pressure. They're really not letting the kickers get any sort of rhythm through the middle because of that aggressive press when it's on.
Worth mentioning, Brian James, 24, the oldest outfield player. Serbal, his midfield partner, number 50, is 18 years old. Here's Luis Fernando to Matthew Baldock. Runner ahead of him is Sinijane, who collects it. Tried to go by Aubrey, couldn't make it. Aubrey gets a step in.
I'm still reeling from that fact there, because anytime
Serbal's
we talk
18?
about like teenagers playing, like 17, 18-year-olds, I'm just reminded what I was doing when I was their age, and it was not playing professional soccer. Shock of all shocks.
I'm sure you were at City Stadium, but you paid to watch.
That's probably true.
Fred Owusu-Sakiri to take this corner. Battling Fred. Into the back post. Headed out. Yudai Mora. Needed a couple of touches. Now he's got the ball under control. Yudai Mora lifts it back in. Long diagonal ball. Evan Lee is beaten in the air by Anconi. Oscar Umar gives it to William Yumbi. Yumbi goes down the line. Baldock gives chase. Up against Anconi. Boulder couldn't keep it in. The flag's up. It's a goal kick.
Just a little overly elaborate there from Bolduc, who in the end lets it go out for a goal kick. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Here's Johnson running at the kicker's defense. Kicker's defense backpedaling. He lays it out wide to Telfer. Telfer with plenty of time. Goes back to Brian James. Now Aubrey to Tainter. Here's Jordan Hamilton. He's come deep to see some of the ball, I think. Jordan Hamilton accelerates. Jordan Hamilton is winding up.
Jordan Hamilton is looking for somebody to pass to, it looked like.
I thought he was pulling that foot back ready to fire. Here's Serbal. Evading slide tackles left and right. Still has the ball. Serbal out left to Telfer. I could see the idea, but it didn't find its target. Travis Warrer waves people forward.
I think Alseth would have preferred he see the wide open space out on the right-hand side as opposed to trying to play a fairly difficult through ball through the middle.
So we have about 10 minutes till half-time at City Stadium. Kickers 1, TFC 2. These teams couldn't keep up that sort of scoring frenzy from the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it did risk finishing, what, like 9-9 if that pace had kept up?
At least. No, more than that. It would have been 18 each. Udai Imura. Braden Troyer. Accelerates infield. Lays it off to Sonny Janet. Shoots from distance, left-footed. It's gone wide.
And now we have seen that switch from the kickers again. It is Owusu Sekira on the left, Bolduc on the right. So watch that as the game progresses, those two switching back and forth. I think just trying to cause a little bit of confusion for the younger TFC2 side.
You think that's what it's about? It's about just confusion and not matchups or anything like that?
I'm not sure. It may be matchups. It may be just a different approach based on the time period, because now this is a more identifiable 4-2-3-1 than it was earlier when it really was that compact 4-5-1.
Jeanne has played that ball ahead of Bolduc, but Anconi's going to get across there and see it out for a TFC2 throw-in.
And I know you could always argue that a 4-2-3-1 is a 4-5-1, but you know what I'm getting at when I say that it was almost like a 4 and then a flat 5.
I wasn't going to start any semantics with you. I know better than that. Luis Fernando with a nice layoff sometimes. Sonny Janet, top of the box, lays it through. Luis Fernando squares it, squared it too much. It's collected by Freddie Owusu Sekira. He shoots, it's held. Held by Cavalluzzo.
Really nice interplay from the Richmond kickers there. Got that kind of fluid front three working.
But didn't make the most of it.
Just a bit overhit from Luis Fernando. I think we both know what he was trying to do, but overhit and maybe just put it a little bit out of the reach there, a little bit too far for Owusu Sekira.
I've seen that replay. It looks to me like Luis Fernando played that ball without looking up.
I think so.
And his body was still facing the wrong way, so he got underneath it a little bit too much, and that's why it was too long and too high.
Yeah, and then I think maybe also wasn't quite sure where Owusu Sekira was, because as you said, I think didn't pick his head up.
That's why you got to look up, right?
Thought he might be going to the far post. Instead, he was kind of staying near central.
Anconi chips it down the line. Johnson couldn't catch up. It's gone out of bounds. It's a Richmond Kickers goal kick. That was the chance to make it 2-1 for the Richmond Kickers going into halftime.
I think it was. I think TFC2, for their part, have had their own chances. We've still seen moments where Jordan Hamilton is unmarked inside the box, because I think the kickers are still having a little bit of trouble dealing with TFC2 playing out wide, then playing through the middle. To the extent that earlier Hamilton basically had an opportunity where he could have settled, taken a touch, maybe another touch, and then finished, but I think wasn't expecting to have that much time, so he just tried to flick it really quickly, and then I think realized, oh, I had about 5 yards of space. Maybe he'll look to calm it down in the second half. Johnson
lays it to Hamilton. Udoimura got there first, though. And lays it out to Braden Troyer. You saw a shot of the Red Army earlier. They were still looking in good spirits. That's good news for the kickers. It's a good sort of barometer, right?
I think so. It was a much more subdued atmosphere last week than it is tonight. I think probably anytime you get 2 goals in the opening minutes, it's always going to be a bit more lively.
You see Alseth has gone down there.
Kickers continue to play. Meanwhile, Alseth looks like having some trouble with his right shin, maybe his right calf. Looks like he took a collision there. I'm sure both teams will take this opportunity to get some water, rest up, and try to see what they can do with these remaining 5 minutes.
Let's take a look at what happened to Alseth. It was a collision with Troy. Looked like Troy at the top of his cleat went onto the top of Alseth's ankle.
I think it was basically like the top right-hand side of Alseth's foot. So basically, I think he had it like up on the arch. Troyer basically stepping down, I think forced the leg down. I think that's why you're having that discomfort there. If it had just been like a foot-on-foot stomp, you get those. They hurt for a second, they go away. But I think anytime you kind of risk twisting any ligament or hurting that ankle, you're going to have some problems.
You can hear Lee Cowdershaw there saying that he's got to come off because Alseth went down. But I'm not sure he received treatment on the field.
I'm not sure he did. I didn't see a trainer come on. I think Alseth got up. And you can see, I mean, as we can see at least, still standing, didn't get any treatment. I think Cowdershaw thinking there was a stoppage. Yeah, he should come off.
So Lee Cowdershaw just after that short one-man advantage you would get while Alseth was off for treatment.
Or maybe he learned from last week when the player was red-carded for coming onto the field before he was given permission. He got a second yellow, got sent off, so maybe Cowdershaw thinking, hey, this is another situation. Maybe it should be another yellow card.
Instead, it's going to be a drop ball. Evan Lee and Jordan Hamilton negotiated this. They have. Jordan Hamilton plays it back to Travis Warrer. I love a nice, peaceful resolution.
And yet you also love Game of Thrones.
Collected by Umar. Leaves it for Alex Lee. Down the line. Jane. Umar. Over the top for Luis Fernando. Fernando got a toe to it, but he was being defended by Aubrey. Pretty successfully in Aubrey's case. Here's Aubrey again. Fernando puts him under pressure. Aubrey cuts back. Goes down. Luis Fernando has it, but the flag's up. It looks like Luis Fernando was a little too aggressive.
Yeah, and I think maybe just bailed out TFC2 there. Aubrey, I think maybe thought he sold him with the cut.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't maybe recognize how quick Luis Fernando is. Fernando able to get back. Just a little bit of contact, otherwise that might have been a clear tackle.
I think he underestimated him. Yudai Mora to Alex Lee. Alex Lee moving forward, passing backwards. Here's Evan Lee. Square to William Yombi, immediately under pressure from Hundal. Travis Warrer kicks, doesn't make a clean connection, but could argue he was passing to Alex Lee. Here's Luis Fernando again, under pressure from Aubrey. Kickers still have the ball. Oscar Umar. Oscar Umar tries a through ball for Sonny Jane to run onto. Possibly Jane was offside, but also Cavalluzzo was out.
I think
to
both
close it down.
Sonny Jane and Bolduc tried to hold their runs up just a little bit, waited and waited and waited, and by the time that ball was played, had drifted about a yard offside.
James out wide to Telfer. Telfer goes back to Onconi. Onconi back to Cavalluzzo. Pace of the game dipping here as we get to half-time. Cavalluzzo lifts it to midfield. Jordan Hamilton chests it one time. Serbal plays it out left. Here's Malik Johnson. Malik Johnson coming forward. Nice little rollover. And a switch out to Alseth. Alseth in the box. One times it into the path of Hamilton. That touch was not so good. Freddie Sakiri comes out. Nice little pass to Yudai Mora. Yudai Mora striding forward. Gives it to Sonny Jane. Jane out left. Hamilton comes back trying to apply some defensive pressure. He succeeded in slowing Jane up. Kickers still have the ball with Braden Troyer. Troyer to William Yumby. Yumby square to Evan Lee.
Again, in that situation, though, Yudai Mura had kind of driven forward, as you mentioned, and as a result, you had Owusu Sekire and Oscar Umar sitting deep, and again, you had the Richmond Kickers really not committing that many numbers into the counterattack.
Braden Troyer's committing to the attack here. He's gone out left. Yudai Mura comes inside. Owusu Sekire tried the turn. Got away. Oscar Umar has it. Oscar Umar clips it in. Cavalluzzo's off his line to claim it. But kickers have defensive shape, so TFC2 cannot counterattack. James to Hamilton, one time to Serbal. Serbal, nice ball out left to Telfer. Telfer coming forward. Trying to take on Bolduc and Alex Lee. He couldn't find any space to cross. Bolduc and Lee did well, I think, to close that down there.
I think so, because it was some crafty work there from Telfer. I think either player could have overcommitted, maybe conceded a free kick, maybe even conceded a penalty. So did well to kind of show him one way, then eventually have to block that cross. Even so, nice work from Telfer there to create that opportunity and earn a corner kick for TFC2.
It looks like it's going to be Brian James to take this corner kick. Brian James to the near post. Oscar Umar comes away with it though. Striding forward. Stretch those legs. And a crossfield ball looking for Luis Fernando. He would have been onside, but the ball was a little too long.
Second time in the past couple of minutes we've been able to see what Oscar Umar was trying to do. Just overhits a little bit, but better work there from the Richmond kickers to break on that counter, to make some smart runs, to create an opportunity there. They get a little bit sharper in the second half. More chances will come.
2 minutes of added time in this first half. Serbal. Hundal lays it back to him, gets it back, and again, but this time Yuda Imura's in the way. Yambi comes out with it. Yambi, a couple of nice feints for a big man.
Smart work as well, because obviously TFC2 were trying to send him back, and we're happy to make him do that back pass, then cut it out. So good work from Yambi, even if it ends with the TFC2 throw-in.
Yeah, that's. I think Travis Warner's clearance was not so great.
As we mentioned, this is his first game back for the kickers in a good long while. Maybe just not quite used to the surface, maybe not quite used to the dimensions. Not sure what the issue is, but he has struggled a bit with his delivery this evening.
It may be his first team game for a good long while.
Very good point. Which is maybe why he's here.
Tainter almost found the through ball to Serbal. Thumbs up to each other from the TFC2 players.
I think that's the fourth audible groan we've gotten from Tainter this half. I think he's not quite pleased with his passing. We'll see if he tightens up in the second half.
Wara waving people to the left, so we know where this kick is going. It was going for Oscar Umar, but it was intercepted by Alseth. Yuda Imura gets it though. Braden Troyer has it. Troyer down the line. His left-footed pass finds Tainter. Whistle could be going any second. Malik Johnson turns in midfield, gets fouled by Yuda Imura. TFC2 are going to have a last chance to put the ball in the box before half-time.
I think Yuda Imura needs to be careful here. Already on a yellow card, we'll get another talking to from the official, which I have to believe is just you're lucky it's the end of the half. Don't do that again, or you'll see your second yellow and you'll be done.
Yeah, I think you saw Yuda Imura tense up a little there.
Yeah.
It is half-time at City Stadium. Quick thoughts, Taylor, before we throw to a break.
I think it was a good first half on both sides. I think the kickers probably have to be more pleased just because it seemed like they had more consistent of a game plan. TFC2 a little bit individualistic in terms of their attacking options. It seems like it's one player driving forward more consistently than it is for the Richmond kickers. We'll see what the teams do to adjust and come out in the second half.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be with you after that.
It's the Food Truck Fest starting at 5:30 with tacos. Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
How can an elephant go undercover to ensure great customer service? Well, it goes a little something like this. I carefully prepare my disguise.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a tow truck on the way to you right now.
I approach with the utmost subtlety.
Absolutely.
I observe undetected.
Those repairs include a lifetime guarantee.
And slip away without a trace.
What?
When my customers are happy, I'm happy. And when I'm happy...
More care, less cost. Discover the elephant difference at elephant.com.
At CBS 6 News, we aren't confined by four walls. Our office is out here, in our community. 6 News at 11, working for you.
Welcome back to City Stadium. Those are the Saxon Ball Kids giving you a big wave hello. They would also tell you that it is Richmond Kickers 1, Toronto FC 2, 1.
They absolutely would. They would also probably ask you, can I stop waving now? Would be another thing I think those
My
kids are
arm's
wondering.
tired, but thank you to the Saxon Ball Kids. All right, we are going to take a look at the first half highlights here at City Stadium. I'm going to say these highlights will be front-loaded.
I think so, especially given that we saw TFC2 take that lead inside the first 4 minutes. Some nice interplay there. A little bit of physical challenges out here. You get that free kick. Braden Troyer maybe not thrilled with that decision. I'm sure Allseth more pleased with it because from that free kick, you get that TFC2 goal. A little bit of a scrum in the middle. A nice flick leads into Jordan Hamilton. Hamilton able to find the back of the net with the turn and the finish. Good work there from the TFC2 attacker.
Wouldn't take the kickers long to equalise though. Here's that Alex Lee cross. Sonny Janet header. Cavalluzzo could only tip it onto the bar and behind the line. Take a look from another angle. You can see Janet rising there. He basically got between two of the centre-backs so that neither of them could sort of exert their size over him.
And you could see there that you had Tainter still in the center of the defense, Aubrey out on the right. After that goal, it seems like maybe they switched. Aubrey came central, Tainter moved out wide. Maybe that just points to a little bit of the indecision from TFC2 and what they're trying to do to sort it out.
Travis Worrey, you saw there holding that shot from distance. I think he's had a mostly solid game for the kickers so far. You can't really blame him for that first goal. The only thing I'm a little worried about is his kicking.
Yeah, his distribution has been a little bit weak. So too was Luis Fernandez on that one chip there. Maybe thought Frederic Sakira was a little bit further away.
That was the chance for the kickers. And of course, the man of the match so far, and every week, is Kickaroo taking a selfie with the Red Army. So what went well for the Richmond Kickers in the first half, Taylor?
I mean, I think to be able to fight back that quickly and get the equalizer, it's not something we've seen the Kickers do very often this season. It tends to take them a little bit more time to figure out the opponent to get on the score sheet.
How many times has that conversation been, what will the Kickers do at half-time to turn this around?
And that's why I think if you're a Kickers fan, you should be a bit more optimistic heading into the second half just because it seemed like the system was working a little bit. It seemed like they were varied in their approach in terms of what they were doing defensively, and then going forward, that they were kind of moving people around to try to create mismatches, to try to create uncertainty for TFC2. And I think that system and that approach is working. I think TFC2, for their part, having some very good individual performances. Jordan Hamilton, Malik Johnson, very capable of driving at the defense. But we haven't seen a lot of combinations. In fact, we've seen quite the opposite. At times, Jordan Hamilton looking for passes, trying to gesture for players to make runs, not finding them, eventually coming under pressure.
And that's about the numbers the Kickers were able to get behind the ball. Not were able to, but they decided to get behind the ball. My guess is if the Kickers score again in the second half, it will be some form of counter-attack.
I think so. It will also depend on how many numbers the Kickers are able to commit forward. As we've said a couple different times, they have been very wary to send too many numbers forward. It tends to be both the center backs, at least one fullback, and both of those holding midfielders staying back, staying a bit reserved, which means you're only able to commit, at best, half of your outfield players into an attack. That's never going to give you the odds that you probably want, so it will need to be a bit of a faster break from the Kickers in the second half.
Speaking of a break, that's exactly what we're going to take here now for halftime.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
James Outland and Morgan Copes from the leadership of Birmingham, Alabama's 2019 USL expansion side recently visited the league offices. Announced as the first expansion team for 2019, Outland and Copes share in the excitement as the club begins to work towards its inaugural season.
Well, first and foremost, I think we're going to have a great product. We're going to have a professional environment. We're going to have a competitive team, and not just competitive, we want to win. So I think the competition and the level of play on the field is going to be top-notch, and I think the experience at the stadium and for the fans is going to be equally impressive.
What excites me about being in the USL in 2019 is it's a dream come true. I mean, this is something that, there's a group of guys and individuals who have put a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, everything you can think of from a grassroots perspective, startup, to see it come to fruition, when this whole thing really kind of started from, just a couple beers at a local brewery. This whole idea, to see it come to fruition, it's going to be incredible.
What excites us about joining the USL is, first, Birmingham needs a professional sports team, and we think soccer is the ideal sport for Birmingham. It's a great growing sport across the country. And as importantly, the USL has really been a successful league. They've done a phenomenal job. We've done our research. We've been working on this for over 2 years now. And we really chose the USL because we think it's the best league and one of the best sports in the world. And we think Birmingham is primed to become a great professional soccer town.
It's going to be a fun, fast, exciting atmosphere. I mean, the game of soccer itself is always, very exciting, to watch live, just because of the speed of play, the physicality, the toughness that goes into it. But I also think we're going to have a great, fun family atmosphere. Well,
it's been a great opportunity to come and get better familiarized with the people behind the league and get to meet the folks that we work with on a weekly and ongoing basis, and really get our ducks in a row and be ready to launch for our 2019 beginning of the season.
The wealth of knowledge, the information, and just the organization around the entire organization itself is incredible. The professionalism is second to none. And I'm excited about getting to meet the people and put faces to names. There's an old quote, nobody cares what you know until they know you care. So I really look forward to establishing those relationships with league officers and just the people in and around here.
For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna leave alone when I cross the line, standing high above this moment in time. Gonna push through the shine, gonna hold on tonight, 'cause I believe in love at this moment in time. This moment in time.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You guys all get one, right?
CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Welcome back to City Stadium. It is not raining. There's Kickaroo having a good old time, as he always does. The Red Army with some smoke bombs. I believe they have permission from front office to do that, so all is good.
I would imagine so. Otherwise, I think they probably wouldn't be here anymore.
Let's take a look at tonight's stats presented by GRTC. The big stats, goals, 1-1. What else jumps out at you there, Taylor Rockwell?
I think the one that really jumps out, as usual with the kickers, is the number of fouls. 8 for the kickers, only 1 for TFC2. We've seen that yellow card for Yudai Omura. He got a talking to at the end of the half as well. He needs to be careful because you can tell he is in the referee's book and he is in the referee's thoughts.
So does that mean Yudai Omura is a candidate to maybe be subbed out at some point in this second half? I'm going to assume no subs at half-time because we rarely do see subs at half-time, and it's 1-1. It's finally balanced, no changes.
Yep.
But do you think we'll see Yudai Omura come out to save him that second yellow and maybe to save his legs?
I think we may, especially because you probably want to see a little bit better conversion in terms of the Richmond kickers have had 7 shots, TFC2 4 obviously, but only 2 on frame for each. So I think maybe you want somebody who can come in, maybe just lighten things up a little bit, not necessarily in terms of the atmosphere, but in terms of actually lighting things up, getting some goals, getting some chances, maybe linking up play just a bit more in the attacking third.
So kickers want to keep that bottom left number at 0, but maybe increase that top left number.
I think so. So how can they do that, Daryl Grove? What would you like to see them do?
I think maybe at some point we should see Frank Tayu, big striker, number 70, always brings something a bit sort of unpredictable, but never seems to get too many minutes for the Richmond Kickers. And the one thing I'm thinking is, Richmond Kickers, it looks like, I'm not sure if this is a mathematical fact, but it's very unlikely that they make the playoffs.
I think it is impossible.
Bottom of the Eastern Conference. TFC2 are just 1 point ahead of them. If Kickers want to make some progress up the table, they may as well just go for it against TFC2 tonight. 1-1, frankly, is not good enough because it leaves you still bottom of the table. Yeah. So why not roll the dice? Like, maybe not in the last 5 minutes, maybe a little earlier. Really bring it here at City Stadium. Try and get 3 points.
Yeah, and I think we've seen plenty of goalless draws, plenty of 1-1 draws at City Stadium so far this season. I think fans
enough.
I think fans would be okay with a 3-3 draw. I think they'd be okay with a 4-3 win. I think they would like to see some action, and I think you're absolutely right that you bring in Frank Tayu. Maybe you bring in Raul Gonzalez, who does appear to be warming up behind the now TFC2 goal.
He drops some crosses in.
Yeah, maybe you get a little bit more attacking flair in there, really go at TFC2, especially given the youth, given the relative inexperience, and maybe you try to capitalize.
I'll say this, there are no defenders on the Kickers bench. It's all forwards and Raul Gonzalez.
This is true. This is true.
That's more of an injury situation.
Marcel DeBellis as well.
TFC2 kick off the second half at City Stadium. We are underway. If you're just joining us, it is 1-1. Richmond Kickers 1, Toronto FC2 1.
I've heard Marcel DeBellis, capable backup goalkeeper, also capable center back. We'll see what happens.
Big chip out left. Alex Lee gets ahead to it. Baldock collects it for the Kickers. Puts it infield to Oscar Umar. Doesn't quite reach him though. Brian James is there instead. Here's Telfer. Telfer to Jordan Hamilton. Hamilton lays it back. Malik Johnson goes back to Brandon Onkoni. Big kick out of the back from Cavalluzzo. Onkoni again. First times it with his right foot. Frederic Sekiri. Under pressure from Serbor, he goes back to Travis Warrer, who first times it out to Evan Lee. Lee to Alex Lee. Left-footed from Alex Lee. Sonny Jane takes it. Looks like he came back from an offside position. Flag is up. Free kick, TFC2.
Good interplay there, but Sonny Jane just coming from a little bit too deep is offside. Good decision there by the AR.
And we're back in play. It's with Mitchell Tainter. Tainter outright to Alseth. Alseth crosses, but crosses too long. It's going to be caught and held by Travis Warrer.
Both teams have struggled to really find teammates in the boxes on those big crosses in the air. The driven ones low seem to have had more of an impact. I think maybe that points to the kind of size disadvantages for both teams.
The only exception being when Sonny Jane just made himself some space and scored that header.
Well, again, being wide open in the box will allow you to do that type of thing.
Brian James into Hundal, lays it off. Alseth. Ball's out of bounds. TFC2 throw. You see Luis Fernando there looking around, but he's raring to go on the counter-attack. Jordan Hamilton.
I think he's raring to do anything that means he's not going to get subbed out in the second half.
Onkoni manages to stride forward and splits the defence. Cross by Telfer to the back post. Hamilton's up. Hamilton heads it just wide.
Looked like it might have even glanced off that far post.
I thought it was in for a second.
As did I. Really nice work there from TFC2 to get down that line. Really nice delivery. Can't quite put that header on frame, but signs of intent from TFC2 early in the second half.
Get one more look at this. Hamilton met it cleanly, and it just wide of that far post. We're still in play here with Sonny Jane. Good touch to Freddie Wusikiri. A nice turn from Wusikiri. He goes outright to Luis Fernando. Fernando up against Onconi. Looking for the pass. He saw the run from Jane. Tainter saw it too. He got himself in the way.
Surprising from Luis Fernando. Tends to do a couple little step overs, a couple little tricks. Very direct play there. Kind of telegraphed that pass was coming in. I think Sonny Jane expected it maybe to be more of a reverse pass on the floor as a result.
Oscar Umar got his head to that. Luis Fernando, I think, has given away a free kick. He maybe got a bit of a grab on the way through. Yeah, I think he got hold of Brian James.
Signs of frustration there, and again, Luis Fernando needs to be careful. I think he's a little frustrated, thinks he got a little bit of a knock there on that collision. Boots the ball away. Could have been a yellow card. Referee in a forgiving mood, though. No card given.
He definitely saw it. He was looking right at him. Lee Calishaw not fully impressed. Brian James to Brandon Onconi. Took the ball on the turn. Back to James. Alseth now gives it to Brian James. Cut out by William Yumby. Yumby to Baldock. Baldock into the path of Luis Fernando. Tainter saw it first, and he got there once again.
Into the theoretical path of Luis Fernando, I'd say.
It was in front of him. I think that ball was worth a go. Here's Jordan Hamilton gesturing ahead of him. Cuts back. To Brian James. Into the midfield to Serbo, who not sure took that ball fully on the turn, but came out with it. Still Serbo. We mentioned in the first half, 18 years old. Here's Malik Johnson. Still Alseth. To Jordan Hamilton, top of the box. He cut, but only into the path of Oscar Umar. Now Baldock can break. Baldock breaks. Big slide tackle from Brian James, but Baldock still has it. Still inbounds. Looking for the pass. Jane held his run, stayed onside. Jane up against Aubrey. Aubrey, I think, pushed him to the floor. It's going to be a free kick to the kickers.
I think Sonny Jane got a step on him, so Aubrey stepped across. It looks like he impeded the run. Will be a free kick for the Richmond Kickers. Nice work there from Sonny Jane to get back into an onside position. Had drifted offside. Does well to ride that
Aubrey
challenge.
was beat. Aubrey knew he was beat.
But really good work there from Baldock to really use that pace to cut off the TFC2 player so he could be first to the ball. Then to ride that challenge, make sure he kept it in bounds. Then
Keep those legs moving. Keep those legs moving.
Because you could see he wanted to play the ball early, realized that Sonny Jane was in an offside position, held it up, and was able to eventually help create that free kick.
Which Jane is going to take. It's going to be left-footed. It's going to swing in. You can see the kickers, big guys at the back post. There's William Yombi. There's Evan Lee. Both of them would love to head this past Angelo Cavalluzzo.
That's fair to say.
Here comes that ball. Instead, Cavalluzzo catches it. We're back in play. Ball played out to the left for Malik Johnson. Malik Johnson running at the kicker's defence. Malik Johnson from the top of the box. Shoots. Travis Wara. It wobbled a bit. It bobbled a bit, but he held it. He's pretending that all's calm. You'll see this on the replay. I think it just shook loose a little bit, and there we go. He got his body behind it. He got his legs behind it. He knows what he's doing. Jordan Hamilton is one-on-one. Travis Wara off his line.
Definitely knew what he was doing there. Some poor play from the Richmond Kickers leads to a 1v1 wide open opportunity for Jordan Hamilton, but Wara off his line does really well to get big, block that shot. You can see the animated Travis Wara there.
Celebrating with the Red Army.
Tends to make those big plays in front of the Red Army.
That was a big moment, a huge mistake at the defence for the kicks. I'm actually not sure who it was, if it was Yombi or Evan Lee, but somebody gave the ball away. Travis Wara saved them. And here's Sonny Jane now running at the TFC2 defence. Jane, loose touch, Aubrey steps. Braden Troyer picks it up. To Imura. Jane lays it back to him. Udayamura. Out left, Luis Fernando. Cuts back. Luis Fernando up against Alseth. Alseth trying not to give him any space. Udayamura to Oscar Umar. Umar lets it run. Goes to Evan Lee. Evan Lee brings it forward. Joins the attack. He cuts it back to Alex Lee, the right back. Lee comes inside. Alex Lee looking for a pass. Oh, that pass to Jane was on, but he's found Fredo Wusikiri instead. Wusikiri lifts it over the top. Aubrey steps and clears. Battling Fred, battles and wins it back. Nearly got the through ball to Alex Lee. Didn't make it. And away goes Malik Johnson. Malik Johnson down the left here, up against Evan Lee. Malik Johnson cuts right, cuts left, accelerates. Evan Lee's held him up though. Malik Johnson now cuts it to the middle. It's Serbal. Serbal from distance, shoots. That's gone wide.
Good counter-attacking play from TFC2. I think Malik Johnson didn't realize that it looked like Jordan Hamilton was trying to make that run out wide to open up some space through the middle. So instead you had two runners making that run through. Leads to that pass, leads to that shot. We'll get a replay here. As we do, we'll say fans stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM-FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM-FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check out uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
Here's Jordan Hamilton. Gets the ball back. Hamilton had a golden chance to make this 2-1 TFC2. I'm sure he'll be feeling that.
I'm sure, and then it'll be interesting to see how quickly he's able to shake that off, if he's able to shake that off. Anytime you're 1v1, if you're that forward, you always expect to get that goal. So when you don't, it can hurt the confidence a little bit. We'll see how he picks himself up here.
Here's Brian James. Out to Brandon Onconi. Bit of excitement in the second half here. Then Malik Johnson again. He's found Telfer out left. Telfer in a little bit of space. Telfer runs at Alex Lee. Outside of the foot cross to the back post. Braden Troyer gets ahead to it. Alseth cuts back. Shot comes in. I believe that was from Serbal. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm sure no one's going to want to claim credit for it, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Serbal.
Second shot in a row that he's put sort of weak and left. Weak and wide, the two W's.
And I was about to say, it looks like TFC2 more pleased with the start to the second half. Kickers had sent their entire bench to warm up. Now it seems like TFC2 are about to do the same. So maybe both coaches ready to make some changes, maybe ready to tinker just a little bit to get things just the way they want them.
Wara kicks long, looking for Oscar Uma. Sonny Jane has collected it and accelerates. Tackle by Brian James. Looks like there was a foul. It's going to be a Richmond Kickers free kick.
That tackle looked good to me, so I'm wondering if maybe there was just a little bit of contact before the defender got the ball there. And then a little bit of dissent there from the TFC2 player. Looks like that's Brian James getting a bit of a talking to. No, excuse me, it's Matthew Serbal. I think he probably also thought he got all ball. Referee disagreed, and we'll have the free kick. Looks like it's going to be Sonny Jane, Udayamura near the ball as well.
So are there any specific players warming up, Taylor, or is it just all the kickers' bench?
It is literally the entire bench, save for the coaches and the trainers.
So no clues about who it's going to be?
One of them would be my guess. 1 to 3 of them at any given time.
Thanks. Jane takes it short to Alex Lee.
So I can pay the big bucks.
Lee crosses to the far post. Cavaluto has dropped it. Tainter clears it for him. Cross comes in again. Evan Lee is there. Heads it down. It's poked clear. Could you tell me how tall is Cavaluto?
That's exactly what I'm looking up.
It just occurred to me.
5'9", which I think is
short
why
for a keeper.
Which is why I think he had some trouble dealing with that one. Very frustrated was he after he dropped that ball. Had to be bailed out by his defenders. I think whenever you're the goalkeeper, you want to inspire confidence, as we saw with Travis Wara, not make your defenders wonder just a little bit.
Well, then I just saw him standing next to William Yambi, and suddenly I thought, oh, he is short for a keeper.
Well, that's because William Yambi's 7 feet tall.
Right, but he's normal goalkeeper height. Luis Fernando is through. Luis Fernando shoots. Luis Fernando has put it wide. That happened fast.
It sure did. Beautiful interplay there between Luis Fernando and Fred Owusu-Sekiri. A nice one, too. Owusu-Sekiri lets that ball just run, does that kind of reverse instep pass into the path of Luis Fernando. Takes a touch, gets the shot, but just goes wide off the post.
Luis Fernando, will he see 90 minutes tonight?
I would keep him in. He's done a lot of nice work in that number 10 spot, as you can see here. Just getting forward, being aggressive, getting around Brandon Aubrey, getting that shot off. Obviously, he's going to put that in the back of the net, but again, we're starting to see him be a little bit more confident and trust himself a little bit more than trying to kind of force through those balls.
Now here's Brandon Anconi for TFC2. Slows it down. Jordan Hamilton has come deep again to get a touch. He's put it out right with Tainter. Down the line to Alseth. Alseth looks up, tried to thread it. Troyer was in the way. Here's Tainter again, captain for TFC2. Alseth's ball down the line, did not find its target. Braden Troyer has it. Troyer looking for space to clear. He clears it to Sonny Jane, who takes it on the thigh. Still in bounds. Freddie Sakiri saves it. Jane gets it back. It did go out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in.
I think Owusu Sekire just about got to it, but did not, and that's just about in the American sense, not the British sense.
I still disagree with your definitions, but this is neither the time nor the place. Because Brandon Anconi has the ball into Malik Johnson. Tackled by Yuda Imura. Imura has given away a free kick.
Again, just another little talking to from the official.
Yeah, I'm seeing if the ref was reaching for any pockets. I'm not sure that was a foul, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Uday Imura was not either. I think he thought maybe the player went down just a bit too easily.
But he'd be wise not to talk about it.
I think that's why. I think that's why you saw him walk away and not talk to anyone in particular.
Lee Cowdershaw might be thinking, though, Uday Imura substitution.
See a frustrated Uday Imura, and we get a replay of that incident here.
Was there maybe some hand-to-face contact, the way Malik Johnson went down?
And then we see Malik Johnson holding his left shin. I think that was a pretty bad call. It seemed like Uday Imura got the ball first, then challenged for the ball. It was a good 50-50 attempt, but instead we'll have a free kick.
Taken by Aubrey. Really good free kick from Aubrey.
Beautiful free kick. Nice pace, nice delivery. Gets it up, gets it down. Goes off the post as well. Whew. Richmond Kickers lucky to still be tied 1-1 here at City Stadium.
Frank Tayu is going to be coming on for Uday Imura. So yeah, maybe we're worried about that yellow card, but Lee Cowdershaw sending on Frank Tayu, an extra striker. This substitution sponsored by Elephant Auto Insurance.
And really, this is the type of substitution we wanted to see from the Richmond Kickers, putting on the big man early. Sometimes Lee Cowdershaw likes to wait until like the 70th minute to really try to change things up. I think instead we're going to have Tayu with Sonny Jane hanging in underneath as that number 10.
And he's more than the big man. He's the tricky man. He's the unorthodox man. He's going to pull off some moves that TFC2 will not be expecting.
He's got those futsal skills.
Yes, he does.
As we wait to find out what Frank Tayu does, we'll say, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Here's Luis Fernando. Into the path of Sonny Jane. Jane has Tayu to his right. Jane is open in the box. Jane shoots. Great save. Down and to the right by Cavalluzzo.
I'm going to be curious to see this replay because that was some really nice footwork from Sonny Jane. I think he might have gotten just a slight little shove as he went to take that one that just put him off. Not enough to send him down, not enough to earn a PK.
I got good news for you. You're going to get another look.
To maybe just make him a little bit uncomfortable as he shoots.
Yeah, you
can see it there. It's a little bit of a shove from Tainter, just kind of putting a hand to him, maybe putting a little bit behind him. No foul, but enough to wrong foot him.
Since he got away with it, that's good defending.
Yep.
Freddie Sakiri to take the corner. Floats it in. Tayu is up. It's headed out. Baldock collects. Back to Braden Troyer, who's the only kicker all the way back. It does feel like the kickers are really going to give this a good go in the last 30 minutes. Now Luis Fernando.
I agree with you, but I'd still like to see them try to get those shots a little bit earlier. It seems like they're really trying to wait until they have the exact right wide open chance to get the shot off. Take them maybe one step, one touch faster. Maybe you get a goal instead of a corner.
Oscar Umar to start this attack. He goes diagonal. Could not find Luis Fernando. But Jane collects the loose ball, nods it to Braden Troyer. Braden Troyer to Fred Owusu-Sakiri. Kickers inching forward into Frank Tayu. Tayu was beaten to it. TFC2 come away with it. Here's Malik Johnson. Cuts inside. Malik Johnson's got some good quick feet. Back to Anconi. We really are watching the future of Canada here, I think. A lot of sort of talented 18, 19-year-old Canadian players.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see, especially because Canada, have struggled for a while at international level. You do feel like they're starting to get a kind of good groundswell of youth development.
I think the Canadian national team's time is coming in the next 10 years or so. Not to win the World Cup, but, to be better than they have been. Here's Telfer crosses left-footed, held by Travis Warrer.
If I were to bet, I'm guessing they'll probably be at the 2026 World Cup.
That's true. Unless Morocco wins the bid.
There is that.
Travis Warrer looking impatient there. Ball is back with Oscar Umar to Alex Lee. Lee into Bolduk. Now Sonny Jane. Out left to Braden Troyer.
Nice work there from Sonny Jane to check into space, to find the space to play that ball, and then to find the feet of Braden Troyer.
With Sakiri into Bolduk, the flag is up. Bolduk is offside, and Brandon Onkoni got the tackle in.
And I think, based on the sharpness we saw from Bolduk in the first half versus the second, I think maybe the amount of runs he's had to make up and down is starting to catch up with him. I wouldn't be
Malik
surprised
Johnson
to see
is on the run down the left here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a substitute before too long.
Onkoni to Brian James, to Onkoni. Out right to Tainter. Here's Brian James again. That ball is kept in by Hundal. Then his pass was overhit. And Owusu Sakiri is dispossessed. Striding into the box. Saved by Travis Warrer.
Not out of bounds yet there. Now it will be a corner for TFC2. Great work there from Serbal. Really good aggressive run. Nice dribbling. Keeps it under control. Manages to get that shot off. Equally good work from the Richmond kickers to shepherd him to make that a tight angle shot and to not concede the penalty there. Because it looked for all the world like with that amount of pace and the runners trying to get to him that it could have easily been a penalty. Instead, TFC2 will have to settle for a corner.
It looks like Telfer has gone across to take it left-footed. Right in front of the Red Army.
Who were having some words with that AR. Just leaning in, probably just asking how his day's going.
Telfer's corner into top of the 6-yard box. Tainter got ahead to it, but headed it behind for a goal kick.
Looks like Tainter also maybe gave a shove there to Oscar Umar. It'll be a free kick for the Richmond kickers.
It is.
From about the penalty area. While Travis Warrer gets set to take it. Folks, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Travis Warrer aiming for Luis Fernando. Tainter steps in front, gets a good defensive header to it, but it's a kicker's throw. Braden Troyer ready to take it. Troyer goes to Luis Fernando, down the left. Luis Fernando, a couple of step overs, couple of moves, still has the ball, looking to make some space, fires it in low. Good work from Luis Fernando, but Cavalluzzo, it's quite easy for him to just claim that at the near post.
Not sure if that was a shot or maybe looking for Bolduk at the far post. I'm going to guess Luis Fernando will be okay with claiming that as a shot, just because otherwise it's a fairly mishit cross.
Either way, all 5'9" of Cavalluzzo got behind that.
But I feel like we're starting to see Luis Fernando really growing into this game, getting that confidence that we see from him, really capable of taking people on and not shy about doing so.
Hundal loses out to Yombi. Owusu Sakiri can't win the ball in midfield, does win a free kick. Yeah, I'd really like to see Luis Fernando stay on for the 90 minutes here, along with Frank Tayu. Yellow card for Serbal there?
Meanwhile, we're going to see a yellow card for Serbal. It looks like maybe just a high elbow, high hand. I'm not sure, but it looked like hand to the face. Owusu Sakiri went down. Yeah, you can just see, brings that left hand across, a little bit of a smack to the face. Not sure if there was much intent behind it, but even so, a hand to the face is always going to lead to a free kick and a yellow card.
I think that's more about Fred Owusu Sakiri being much shorter, and so he's just in line with his hand as he's swinging it around. It's kind of harsh on Serbal.
I think then again, you could also make the argument that you did see Owusu Sakiri come in and kind of do a little bit of an aggressive hand of his own, so maybe that was also sort of like, oh, well then, one right back to you.
Battling Fred, that's how he plays. Lee and Yombi exchange passes. Braden Troyer, one time over the top for Frank Tayu to chase. Frank Tayu is in on goal. He cuts back. He's left it for Bolduk. Bolduk with a touch. Bolduk shoots. It's in the back of the net. Baldock has made it 2-1. Richmond Kickers in the 68th minute here at City Stadium. The gamble of bringing on Frank Tayu has paid off.
Indeed, that goal presented by Draper Aiden Athletics, engineering the experience. Great work there from the Richmond Kickers. Nice direct ball over the top. Frank Tayu does well to settle, to hold it up, gets knocked down, looked for the penalty, but didn't need for it because instead we get a deft play from Matthew Baldock. Chips it over and drives that ball home. Does take a deflection, but in the end it's 2-1 to the Kickers.
For me, it's all about that first touch Baldock has where he lifts it over the defender to make some space for himself. You're about to see it. There it is. Dink around him and bang. And I think a deflection on the way in.
Absolutely a deflection on the way in. Nevertheless, it was on target, so he will get the credit for the goal and absolutely deserves it. That little just chipped pass to himself, incredibly skillful and incredibly necessary because otherwise that ball's getting tackled. Great work from the wide midfielder for the Richmond Kickers.
And let's say credit to Braden Troyer. That right-footed ball from left back over the top to put Frank Tayu through on goal and cause mayhem in the TFC2 defence. But here comes Telfer. Telfer on the left up against Alex Lee. Cuts back, fires it in. Luis Fernando came across, got enough of a touch to it. Worth remembering, last time a team scored at City Stadium, the equaliser came very quickly. Here's Telfer to Brian James. Brian James top of the box, faces up to Oscar Umar. Looking for some space. Tackle by Braden Troyer. Troyer with another big right-footed ball, this time for Sonny Janet to chase. It's gone out for a throw. TFC2 are going to be in a hurry now, 22 minutes to equalise. This would do it for the Kickers. This result will put them above TFC2. Jordan Hamilton, here he comes. Jordan Hamilton from the top of the box, shoots, it's blocked. I think that was Yombi got in the way of it. Ball is with Serbal. Cut out by Oscar Umar. Tayu with an almost nice pass. It was unorthodox, as we've been saying, but sometimes that's not exactly what you want.
Now you can see what he was going for there. If that pass comes across, it is a 2v2 situation, but just a little bit under hit from Frank Tayu.
Here come TFC2. If we're talking about the live table, Kickers are off the bottom of the table right now. Jordan Hamilton finds space out left with Telfer. Brian James to Hamilton. Finds Telfer. Good touch on his chest there. Telfer crosses far post. Ball is still in bounds. Alex Lee gets a big right foot to it. That went up in the clouds temporarily. Onconi has let it bounce off of him and out of bounds.
Fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC Channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
Alex Lee throws it to Tayu. He's getting more and more influential. Does he get an assist for that goal? Or was he tackled for the Baldock goal?
Frank Tayu?
Yeah.
So I think you're talking about Alex Lee for a second. Tayu, no, I don't think he does. It's probably going to end up being unassisted, although he definitely deserves credit for the run, for the settle. Was not fouled. I was incorrect in that initial reaction. On the replays, it looks like maybe tried to get that shot off.
So he was
instead
tackled?
It was blocked.
Was he kind of tackled as he was bouncing through?
I think it was basically he waited to get the shot off by the time he was able to hit it. A TFC2 player had stepped in front, so it was a blocked shot that then fell into the path of Baldock.
I see. Either way, it is, with 19 minutes to go. Richmond Kickers 2, TFC2 1. Kickers leading 2-1 at City Stadium. Ball for Hundal, cut out by Evan Lee, but collected by Alseth on the right. Alseth accelerates to the end line and cuts back. Yombi gets a foot to it, puts it out of bounds.
I said this about the Kickers earlier, I've said about TFC2 now. Just taking 1 and 2 too many touches there. You think that ball could come in just a little bit earlier when the Kickers are still trying to transition in the defense. By the time that ball does come, TFC2 are set up in a way that they can just cut that one out. Or excuse me, the Richmond Kickers are set up in a way that they can cut it out and get a foot to it cleanly as opposed to trying to dive to block that cross from coming in.
There's a delay taking the throw in. I think there's a problem with the corner flag.
It looks like it doesn't want to stay up. A problem there with the mount, it looks like, and may need to be replaced because I imagine that's probably not too safe.
So usually the mount is like sort of secured into the floor with a giant spike, and then the pole should then just settle into the mount.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sort of on tool time here.
I'm enjoying the TFC2 players trying to fix it. Jordan McCrary had a lot of suggestions for how it could be fixed quickly. Nobody listened to him, and so then he just went ahead and fixed it.
Who fixed it?
Jordan McCrary.
Who did it? Oh, number 46.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's essentially taken the mount out and just dropped the pole into the
Exactly.
hole. Well done, Jordan McCrary.
I think he got some applause from the Kickers Red Army there as well.
Don't have to be on the field to influence the game. It's going to be Alseth is actually in McCrary's spot right now. Oscar Umar tackles and clears. And my new hope for this game is that Jordan McCrary gets to play.
Well, I think 2 other TFC2 players are about to come on. Looks like it's going to be a double change for TFC2 here in just a few moments.
Tainter crosses it in. Alex Lee lets it bounce over him and clears right-footed to the goal scorer, Baldock. Baldock down the line to Tayu. Tayu, I think we're trying to let that run across him. Aubrey was there. Now Tayu throws it to Alex Lee. Lee looking for the pass. Finds Frank Tayu. Tayu holds off the defender. Gives it to Baldock. To William Yambi. Fernando turns, but is dispossessed by Brian James. Ball over the top to Hundal. The flag is up. Offside, Hundal, and the shot was wide, which is going to be disappointing if you're Sean Hundal.
If you're the Red Army, I think less disappointing and more so a reason for mockery.
Ref gives Hundal a little talking to as well about how you're not supposed to do that after the whistle has gone.
Substitutions for Toronto FC.
Looks like we will get some changes for TFC2 now. Akeem Andrews coming on, it looks like for Sean Hundal.
These substitutions are sponsored by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Also on for Toronto, number 48.
Other substitution for Toronto FC2. Number 48, Dante Campbell, has come onto the field for number 50, Matthew Serbel.
That substitution also presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Now here's Malik Johnson. Driving at the Kickers' defence. Lays it into the path of Hamilton. Now it's with Dante Campbell. Now it's out left with Telfer. Telfer crosses to the far post. It's in the hands of Travis Wara. 15 minutes to go at City Stadium. Travis Wara, side volley, kicks it outright to Baldock. Baldock with a little bit of time.
Substitutions nearly had an immediate impact. It was Campbell who ended up getting ahead to that one. Akeem Andrews involved in the build-up to that play. We'll see if those substitutions continue to pay off for TFC2.
So it looks like Campbell and Andrews are sort of gathered around Jordan Hamilton up top.
It does indeed.
So TFC2 going for it, going for the equaliser. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm thinking we're going to see some exciting soccer at City Stadium. 2 teams with nothing to lose.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. One more substitution for TFC2, 2 substitutions to the Richmond Kickers. The entire Kickers bench still warming up. Nobody called back over. Nobody giving final instructions.
Here's Malik Johnson, finds Telfer. There's been a connection down this left side for TFC2. Cross into the box. It's headed wide.
Andrews just there, can't quite get ahead to it, but better work from TFC2. They've been working both those channels, haven't been able to get much out of it. Could have gotten a little more out of it. Andrews just couldn't kick that one cleanly, a bit over hit.
He had his moments coming off the bench.
Okay.
Could he have done better?
I think it's more so the ball from Telfer. Maybe it is a little bit on second viewing.
Evan Lee get a flick?
I think it's actually, if it doesn't get a flick, then he at least puts off Andrews enough that he doesn't see it cleanly, has to react late.
Maybe just a swish of hair from Evan Lee was enough to put Andrews off. Telfer with the ball. Telfer's been very sure-footed. I've been quite impressed with him.
And obviously very heavily involved in the attack as well. Has done well to get up, but then also get back, get in good defensive shape too.
Alex Lee was looking for Tayu. I don't think he considered the offside. Tayu knew not to chase it. Cavalluzzo. Looking for a passing option. Instead, he's going to go long. Evan Lee gets there first. Alex Lee clears it. Tainter's clearance was not good enough. Janet gives it to Freddie Wusikiri. Splits the defence for Baldock. Baldock with loads of space on the right here. Baldock shapes to cross. Slows it up a little bit. Left-footed to the top of the box. Shot from Oscar Umar. Frank Tayu holds it up. Now Freddie Wusikiri. Wusikiri crosses. Nobody was on the end of that. I think it was a good idea, though. And Freddie Wusikiri is down and waving. It looks like his groin is gone.
It's either a groin or a cramp, not sure which. Either way, he will need some treatment. We'll see the trainers come on. I think Freddie Wusikiri played himself into a little bit of a conundrum there. I think he thought maybe he could get it to Bolduc. Maybe he thought he'd have a defender step in. The defender stayed wide, so he couldn't play it. So instead, he had to go for that reverse pass. As we see Oscar Umar shot there. Tayu holds up, finds a Wusikiri who takes that touch into the middle, feels the pressure, then looks up, realizes he can't get it to Bolduc, so then tries to play it across, but doesn't look to see if anybody else is anticipating that ball.
I think he's hoping someone's just darting onto the end of that. Like a Christian Eriksen to Dele Alli type situation.
I still can't tell if this is a cramp or if this is maybe something a bit more severe just based on
I
the stretches
think
we're
it's
seeing.
both. I think he was getting the stretch for the cramp, but he was also holding his groin. I think maybe two things happened at once. The interesting thing is, so the kickers are what, Raul Gonzalez and Jackson Eske maybe as midfielders who could come in.
Yeah, not many other midfield options unless you bring on another forward, Oliver Mitatel or Mikey Mitatillo, and then drop one of your more attacking players into more of a holding role.
You see Freddie Wusikiri limping off. It doesn't look good in terms of him coming back on.
It does not. You can also see off screen, so then I guess you can't see Jackson Eske getting recalled to the bench.
There we go. That makes sense. He can. I mean, I know he can play forward, but he can also play some central midfield.
Yeah, and that would be my guess. Maybe we'll see Oscar Umar try to hold by himself as long as he can, and we'll see Jackson Eske come on to partner him in the middle.
But you also see Freddie Wusikiri giving the thumbs up across the field. We got our wish.
We did indeed. It's going to be all Seth making way. Jordan McCrary coming on that right-hand side. That substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Fixer of corner flags, first of his name, Jordan McCrary. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
More worryingly, I think, for the Richmond Kickers, he's the one who earned that penalty kick last week, so you got to worry about him with those fresh legs getting forward and causing problems.
So Alex Lee to take. Frank Tayu getting the shout to hold it up. Hold it up, Frankie, is what I could hear from over here. Freddie Wusikiri gives it to Yambi. We're in the final 10 minutes at City Stadium. McCrary with immediate pressure. And with the ball.
Yeah, you get
but Yambi steps across.
You definitely get the distinct impression that he's been told, get in there, put that pressure on, and that's exactly what McCurry's doing. And now TFC2 with the ball.
Jordan Hamilton into the path of Malik Johnson. And looks like a call for the Richmond Kickers.
The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Travis Wara to Alex Lee. Alex Lee, I can see him looking at Frank Tayu's run. There we go, finds his feet. Good first touch from Tayu. And all the way back to William Yambi.
Meanwhile, we haven't mentioned it yet. Wusikiri back on the field, seems to be playing relatively unencumbered. Jackson Eske on the bench, but not making moves towards the fourth official.
I see Wusikiri limping. I think you can see him probably on the left side of your screen at home as well.
I'm still surprised, though, Jackson Eske seated on the bench, not getting any instructions, bib still on. It seems like maybe the kickers really want to see what can happen here.
They've taken a quick free kick, but too quick for the referee, who's called it back. Good quick thinking from Tayu, though.
Some words there between the official and TFC2 as we get a replay of this incident. Just looks like some physical play there. Senejane being held up just a bit, and in the end, that free kick is given.
It's going to be Jane to take as the clock ticks down. Or I guess in soccer it ticks up, but ticks towards the end of the game. Jeanne crosses, far post for William Yambi. It's headed out. Johnson collects. Johnson plays it outright. Tackle from Frederic Sakiri, a tackle and spin. I take back everything I said about his groin not being in good shape. Frank Tayu, chest, he got a push in the back. He has won a free kick for the Kickers.
So the Kickers, you can see starting to get a little bit of that confidence because they've got that lead a little bit more freer in the way they're playing the game now. Less pressure on them to try to get that winner. And you can see the creativity there, drawing those fouls with a nice little spin turns.
And yeah, just the confidence from Owusu Sakiri. But I think you're right. When we've seen these games when the Kickers are like losing by a goal in the last 10-15 minutes, you don't see him take those risks, which like paradoxically would be what would be helpful for the Kickers. But I know it's harder to do when you're not feeling confident and you're trying to not make big mistakes. Jeanne with another free kick from roughly the same spot as a minute ago.
William Yambi forward for the Kickers, Evan Lee staying back.
Yambi is the target at the far post. Yambi gets ahead to it, nods it down. Brian James collects and clears into the feet of Malik Johnson, who turns, is tackled. Andrews lays it off. McCrary down the line. Andrews up against Luis Fernando. Fernando goes down. Andrews still has it. Crosses in low. Alex Lee gets a left foot to it. Clears it. Does enough. McCrary collects. And the Kickers have won a free kick. Maybe a foul from McCrary on the way through.
I think a yellow card from McCrary as well. I think that's persistent infringement since he's come on. Very aggressive in his play. I think the referee got a good view of that one.
Does he not get a free pass for the corner flag?
I don't think so.
Situation?
It definitely appears not, as the yellow card is issued there for McCrary. He's still pleading his case. I'm assuming that's for the number of preceding incidents and then just a bit of a shove there.
You saw it.
Overly aggressive, leads to the free kick and the foul and the yellow card.
Travis Wara waving everybody left once again. Aiming for Frank Tayu. Tayu beaten in the air by Aubrey. Jeanne got a touch but not quite good enough in a tight situation. Andrews' ball into Jordan Hamilton, who manages to turn and find Telfer out left. Here's Ryan Telfer once again, number 54, Ryan Telfer. Cross nearly finds a teammate. Owusu Sakiri swings in the air. Telfer gets another chance. Jordan Hamilton. Malik Johnson was not happy with that pass. I think he kind of stumbled as he stepped towards it.
Yeah, a little bit awkward there.
Here's Jackson Eske.
And now we'll see our second substitution of the game for the Richmond Kickers.
He's going to be replacing Sonny Jeanne. So Jackson Eske on for Sonny Jeanne. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
That sequence there from TFC2, Daryl, was another example where they had the opportunities. If they can just get that passing a little bit sharper, if they can just make that decision 1 second, a half second faster, they're going to get better chances. Richmond Kickers, lucky there. There were players open in the box, but nothing comes of it.
I think you're going to see SK do a kind of forward defensive job for the Kickers. Frank Tayu receives and turns and cuts back. Now here's Oscar Umar. We're in the 86th minute at City Stadium. Umar looks up, sees Baldock alone on the right. Matty Johnson does really well to spot it and come and get his head to it. Johnson still has the ball. Couldn't get away from SK, who came across and did some forward defensive work with a big slide tackle there.
And it was an important slide tackle because that channel was open, and it seemed like Malik Edwards had done well to evade the challenge from Baldock. Good tackle from Jackson Eske breaks up that play.
Hamilton heads it, but it's collected by Baldock. Baldock tried to go for Luis Fernando. He's overhit that, but he's created a race over that far side between Tainer and Fernando. Tainer went to ground. Tainter went to ground. Turns out to be a good tackle, but Kickers have the ball. Here's Travis Wara. Exchanges passes with Evan Lee. Tainter heads it right up in the air. Frank Tayu brings it down. Finds Baldock. Baldock out wide to Tayu. Frank Tayu turns. Think we might see a couple of tricks. And a shot straight into Onconi. Ball out right. Bit of miscommunication between McCrary and Andrews, but McCrary has it. McCrary definitely looks a more attacking player than the man he replaced, Alseth. TFC2 chasing this game. 2-1 down. Cross comes in. I think it took a deflection. Travis Wara catches it on the line. Wara, quick throw out to Bolduc. I'm not sure who saw that coming.
And Travis Wara there, a little nervous for a second, so too.
Yeah.
Where pretty much every Kickers fan here at the City Stadium were able to get back into shape and collect that ball cleanly.
Well done, Bolduc. Loose touch from Tayu, though. It's with Andrews. Evan Lee steps, takes the ball, gives it to Braden Troyer. Now it's Oscar Umar. Umar into Eske. Eske out to Evan Lee. Good calm stuff from the Kickers. Alex Lee down the line for Bolduc. He has Eske running ahead of him. Good run from Eske, stretching TFC2 all over the field. Eske in no hurry. Tried to go around James. He's won a corner kick. Richmond Kickers corner kick.
But before that corner comes, we will have a substitution for the Kickers. It's going to be Raul Gonzalez coming on for Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando, I'm sure, will be in no rush and gives us plenty of time to say that this substitution is presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
You could have said it even slower than that. Yeah, the seconds ticking away as Luis Fernando strolls off the field. So Raul Gonzalez will probably provide a little extra defensive cover. You know, he's a more experienced defensive player than Luis Fernando. But he'll also provide not the same dribbling ability, but some nice crossing. Yeah. Always good crossing from Raul Gonzalez.
And I think he's probably, in terms of Luis Fernando playing the full 90, I think he's a victim of the pace of McCrary, the substitutions TFC2 have made. I think Lee Calishaw wisely spotted the opportunities TFC2 were getting, wanted some fresh legs over there to deal with that.
I think 89 minutes I count as almost a full game for Luis Fernando. It's not like the old days when he was even less experienced and he'd be the first guy out at the 55th minute. Telfer takes it into midfield. Ball is with Jordan Hamilton. Hamilton outright to Tainter. TFC2 captain, driving his team forward. McCrary, the right wing back. Lots of moves. And he's gone down. Referee says nothing there.
I think the referee thinks he might have made a meal on that one.
Cleared by Oscar Umar. All the way to Brandon Onconi. We are in the 90th minute. There are 15 seconds. I think we're going to find out added time soon.
4 minutes of added time. 4 minutes
4
of added
minutes
time.
of added time. Here goes Eske. Puts it out left.
Nice tackle there from TFC2. Richmond Kickers throw in, which I'm guessing they will not be particularly aggressive to take.
I've started a clock here in the commentary booth so we can keep an eye on this 4 minutes. Throw from Troyer. Won and cleared. Yambi receives it. Evan Lee. Usikiri, I'm not sure what he was doing, but it's with Brandon Onconi. Good tackle from Evan Lee. Evan Lee for Bolduc to chase. He'll get there. I've been very impressed with Bolduc's pace, but he is down on the floor after that big slide tackle from Onconi.
And I think it looks like Onconi thought maybe for a second a free kick had been given. Instead, it will be a throw-in for the Richmond Kickers. Bolduc, I think, down. Referee wanted to stop play just to make sure that everything's okay. That was a really hard tackle, not an aggressive tackle.
Nothing wrong with it, though, right? It was perfectly timed, I think. We'll see it again one more time.
It looks it to me. I think it's just maybe the pace of Bolduc, the cutback, and then, yeah, it's absolutely a good challenge there. An aggressive challenge, certainly. A strong challenge, certainly, but a fair challenge as well.
I think it's the way Bolduc lands that has caused him some trouble. But the good news is Bolduc is up on this right-hand side, limping slightly, but I think he's okay. Tayu loses out in the air. James flicks it forward. Umar steps, doesn't get it. Then Malik Johnson has it. He's got away from Evan Lee. Telfer. Telfer shoots. That was not a bad strike from Ryan Telfer.
No, it looked
Travis Wara was down, though.
Looked to be on frame, though, but I think just a little bit of spin to that had it cut out at the last second. Travis Wara did appear to have it covered regardless.
It had some zip on it, though.
Absolutely.
Let's get one more look at this shot. Oh, yeah, it moved.
Travis War having some words with his defenders there. I think not pleased about the amount of time that Telfer had. And then maybe also just saying, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's not rush this. There's no need for us to be trying to force passes.
There are about 2 minutes to go here. We are about halfway through the 4 minutes of added time. Good win in the air from Brian James. But kickers have it. Umar puts it down the line. That's a good ball if you're trying to kill the clock. Kick from Cavalluzzo. Telfer holds off Alex Lee. Kickers forcing TFC2 backwards. Ball played through. William Yombi does the international gesture for, I'm not touching this, it's coming through to you, Travis Wara.
Meanwhile, off the ball, it looks like Alex Lee might have taken a shot to the stomach there. I think
I saw him holding, yeah.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it looked like maybe he had a little bit of a clash of arms and limbs with Jordan Hamilton.
Ball goes long. Tayu and Aubrey fighting for it. I think Aubrey just got a foot to it. Here's Brandon Onconi.
Excuse me, it wasn't Jordan Hamilton, it was Telfer, and he is still having words with Alex Lee. Alex Lee needs to be careful here.
I can see them drawing. Yeah, Alex Lee needs to not get distracted in the final minute of the game here. Brandon Onconi with the ball. TFC2, for a team with only 40 seconds left, have not thrown too many men forward. James outright to McCrary. Kickers have it. Braden Troyer gets a push in the back. I'm not sure that's what I would have done. TFC2 would be better off keeping the ball in play if they're chasing the game.
Yeah, I think so, but maybe Campbell just a little bit worried there about the counterattack possibility, but instead he lets those final 30 seconds or so run off. So it will be a free kick for the Richmond Kickers, a yellow card to TFC2. We'll see how much time is remaining once this kick goes.
That's what inexperience looks like. Wara kicks it long. Tainter heads it out for a throw. 4 minutes of added time are up, so we've only got nothing left. Referee blows the whistle for full time. It finishes Richmond Kickers 2, Toronto FC 2-1. 2-1 win for the Kickers at City Stadium. Red Army celebrates. More smoke bombs. I think I saw some sparklers there.
You get some final words here from TFC2 to the officials. I think not pleased about some of the talking from the Richmond Kickers, but I don't think the fans will care, as you can see that smoke in the air.
We're going to take a short break before Taylor and I come back to sort of break down what just happened.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna lean on up when I cross the line, standing high above this moment in time. Gonna push through the shine, gonna hold on tonight, 'cause I believe in love at this moment in time.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
Welcome back to City Stadium, where the Richmond Kickers have won 2-1. You can see it there on your screen. The players getting the congratulations from the Red Army, the very patient Red Army. All right, Taylor, we're going to take a look at the goals and highlights from today.
Sounds good to me. Starting off with that early goal from TFC2 off of that free kick. Some chaos in the box. Nice little flick there. Leads to the nice finish from Jordan Hamilton. 1-0 to TFC2.
But then the Kickers turned it around really quick. You're going to see a very nice cross from Alex Lee and some good work from Sonny Janet.
Does well, rises to meet it, doesn't get too much pressure from any of the defenders in there.
He gets between them. That's the smart thing he did.
As you can see that ball in one more time. Well hit there, off the header, off the post, and in. Udai Omura just comes through just to make sure it's in the back of the net, but it will be Sonny Johnny's goal, and a nice goal at that.
I like to think Omura said, and another one! In the second half. Let's get some highlights.
I've been saying Udai Omura made sure, but he actually put it wide there.
So you're right. I think Frank Tayu was trying to sort of take one more touch. It got deflected. You see Boduk with that lovely little chip over the defender, make some space for himself. Just open up a bit of space. It was Onkoni again. So, yeah, Onkoni got 2 bites at defending this. Bolduc got the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think that's Tayu trying to hold it up to then take the volley once the defender's overrun. Instead, it's deflected and then deflected again, but in the back of the net and as the Richmond Kickers celebrate.
Do you have a man of the match today, Taylor?
It's tough. I mean, obviously, it's got to be the Richmond Kickers. I might say it's Travis Wara, just because he has that big stop in the second half, 1v1 with Jordan Hamilton. That ball goes in the back of the net. It's a completely different story, and that kind of launches a little bit more confidence, a little bit of a spark from the Kickers in the second half.
Ooh, you've actually kind of convinced me, but I think it maybe needs to be Matthew Bolduc. Not just for the goal, but I've been really impressed with his defensive work and then the sort of the pace he offered on the counter for the Richmond Kickers.
And this is the man who joined the Kickers during the season, has kind of played his way into the starting 11 and has looked good down that right-hand side.
So when will we see Matthew Bolduc next?
We'll see him next week here at City Stadium. Richmond Kickers taking on the Charleston Battery.
Oh yeah, good old teams from 25 years ago facing each other here at City Stadium. So once again, Richmond Kickers have won this game 2-1. They are off the bottom of the USL Eastern Conference by beating Toronto FC 2.
There we are.
All right, that's all from Taylor and I. You look forward to seeing you next week when the Kickers play Charleston Battery.